What's going on, everybody? TheKennyDubz here with another Mega Man X Dive with the update video. Now, this video is going to be going up a lot later than I wanted because I typically try to have these up around 8 a.m. EST. However, there was no there was no news for global around that time, so I decided that I'm just going to go to bed rather than waiting to try and see when the news will come out, because sometimes we get news extremely late. But as you can see here on screen, now we will get Super Bass later this week. So on Wednesday, one of the most anticipated characters to the global server is finally coming out. So that's pretty cool. We don't really have much other information on this outside of Super Bass coming to global. But yeah, that's really cool. And we're getting a free 10 pull on him. So hopefully, maybe I'll get really lucky and get him on the free 10 pull. And maybe other people that actually want Super Bass as well. And then from there, it seems that Latam is getting Zero Nightmare this week instead of Super Bass. So they're going to be getting Zero Nightmare, which I guess they don't have yet. I'm not entirely sure which servers is missing which dive festivals. But apparently Zero Nightmare is not on Latam, so that's what they'll be getting this week. So I assume they'll be getting the raid event as well as global NA, and I believe EU got a raid event alongside Zero Nightmare when he came to global. I don't remember if there was an event alongside him. If there was, I probably already covered it, so that'll be covered somewhere on my channel. So when the event comes out, you can just go search for that. But we did get some information on what's coming to the Taiwan version as well this week. And we actually got a roadmap this time over on Rockman Corner. Now, this wasn't here this morning either. There was a small little trailer, which we'll be taking a look at the end of this video as per usual. But Capcom posts Rockman X Dive content roadmap for the next few months, which is great. I love when they do these. I prefer to have these like every month so we know what's coming up, instead of just going, you know, a few weeks without any, like, it's basically like radio silence from Capcom or even Nebula Joy about what's going to happen for the upcoming week. But just like before, Capcom Japan and Capcom Taiwan took social media to give players a peek at what's in store for Rockman X Dive in the coming months, coming deals after the break. And right here, we see some interesting things, you know, in this little infographic here. So let's scroll down a little bit more here. First, we have a roadmap published by Capcom Japan on Twitter. From December to January, the game will feature the typical Christmas and New Year's events with a new character joining the cast. So next month, oh, actually, wait, between December starts this week. Okay, so I'm assuming next week we're going to be getting a new character, because in the Taiwan version right now, we're having a Battle Network rerun event going on right now. So I will have a chance at finally getting a copy of Base Crest Mega Man. He might even get DNA this week as well, since they're rerunning him. So that'll be pretty cool. But from January to February, new dive armor character based on one of X-Dive original characters becomes playable. The game story will progress greatly as well. I'm not really sure it says the game story will progress greatly. I don't know what that actually means. Like, does that mean like a lot of story is going to be progressed? Like, are we going to get a lot more story stages? Don't know about that. But, and finally in March, we'll have a new collaboration with the Capcom IP, a 3rd anniversary celebration on the Asian version, on the Asian version's release. Wow, yeah, that is really, really soon. So real quick here, this kind of, so this dive festival on the left here, or dive armor, I'm thinking maybe Rico. Like, it kind of has like that Rico like kind of head shape with her hair, and here I'm thinking a Christmas Eco, maybe, because Eco has wings like this, and again it kind of has like that Eco kind of head shape. Though she is wearing this unit is wearing a Christmas hat. The reason, again, I say she, because I think that this is Eco. I think this one right here might be Rico based off of that, and like it has like the little skirt that Rico has. Although this could very well be some variation of Iris, but I don't think we have a dive armor. No, it can't be dive armor Iris, because they said an original character. So, and it also doesn't look tall enough to be Erator. At least to me from this. So I'm thinking this is Rico. I'm thinking this is a Christmas Eco. This might be pretty cool. Possibly. depending on how they played out and stuff. Let's scroll in here a little bit more. See, next we have a dive time video with producer Yoda Hideo, which is pretty cool. I love watching these. Like, these are kind of things I really like watching. But it says, will Captain Taiwan's take on upcoming content too? So we'll take a look at that at the end of the video. The Christmas character for the year would be Christmas Eco. Oh, okay. Cool. I just figured it out. I was like, ah, you look like Eco. Not only that's one silhouette give it away, but like the Christmas event, told of Christmas from afar, Eco foreshadowing this character to be a Christmas costume after Rico got one. Yeah, much like how in the Monster Hunter event, I believe it was Eco had said, Eco, you know, usually said something along the lines of like, hey, it'd be cool if I got something. Like, it's like, why do you get one, you know? So that always kind of gives us a little hint. It's just like, Eco was probably going to get one next rerun. Next, we have the announcement of original character getting dive arm. Close respect on silhouette and includes wings and R shape, the same way dive arm characters like X, Zero, and Axel have wing shape like the first letter of the name. So this probably is Rico. The silhouette includes something similar that resembles Rico's hair ribbon too. It very well be dive armor Rico. That's what I was thinking based on it, and I couldn't really see like an R based off of the wings, but okay. So that there's potential there for that to be dive armor Rico. I feel like it's gonna make a lot of people upset because I know Rico's a bit of a divisive character. People either love her or hate her. I haven't really seen anyone like in between. I don't particularly like. I like her, but like I don't. You know, I'm not crazy about her. Like if she gets a new ult, I'm like, oh, you know, that's cool. I'm not gonna go crazy pulling for it, but I might try some pulls at dive armor Rico depending on what her kit looks like. Because I did really like Celebration Rico, so I did pull for her way back when. But at some point between January and February, the story will advance. Hideo recommends the players finish Chapter 19 to prepare for what's to come. I still have to do that, actually. I've heard that Chapter 19 is really, really nice, though. It's safe to assume that they are teasing Chapter 20, which will conclude the current storyline. Cool. Finally, we have a new collaboration with Capcom IP coming in March. This time it's going to be an IP that hasn't crossed paths with X Die before. That's actually very, very interesting that it won't be something that crossed paths with Die before. In other words, it won't be Monster Hunter or Street Fighter. It'll be a very popular IP. Devil May Cry Resident Evil. Take your best guess in the comments. So there is that. I don't know what it's going to be. I know there were supposed to be hints in the previous Dive Time video, but I didn't pick up on them. Possibly Devil May Cry. I think Devil May Cry is very popular. Give you Resident Evil. I don't really play either of those series, so if there are hints for either of those series, I would probably miss them entirely. But I do think that it's good that we're not getting a Monster Hunter or a Street Fighter collab this time. Mostly because if it's Monster Hunter, that means I will likely pull on it just because I love Monster Hunter. So this could be potentially a time for me to save EMs on this collab, depending on what the characters are. But that's it for the Taiwan version here. Yeah, not really much else to say about that. So real quick, we're going to go take a look at my Taiwan account to look at Super Bases, do the character preview, and then we'll come back and watch the Dive Time video. Alright, here we're taking a look at Super Base here in the on my Taiwan account. And I don't know if we'll be getting the fat update we're supposed to be getting before the end of November, because Wednesday will be November 30th, so maybe we'll get that. If we don't get that, that means Base should have its voices, which would be pretty cool. But let's take a look at Super Base's splash screen here. Very, very nice with that there. Now, before I get too far into this, I do want to say that Super Base, upon release, he was a monster of a unit. However, because things got switched around in Russian Global, he's not going to have the same impact he did on the Taiwan version. And for that reason, I would suggest everyone temper their expectations of Super Base heavily, just because we got things out of order. So now, at least in the PvP standpoint, he's not going to be as insane as he was in the Taiwan version upon his initial release. But I think he'll be still a fantastic choice in PvE scenarios. But in PvP, I think he's still usable. But we have so many things to deal with him now that he won't be like this oppressive force that everyone's making him out to be. So first up, let's take a look at the base buster here. All right, I had to go look up the base power of his buster because I had a general idea, but I didn't remember. Anyway, Do 200, basically 202% attack damage to the target and generate a sabotage beam on the spot after hitting the target, which will continue to do damage to the target and inflict defense crush or weaken defense, weakening its defense up to about 7% and can be stacked up to 8 stacks. Now, this is actually a very, very powerful attack right here. Now, inherently, it will only shoot one buster shot. However, I'll take a look at the modifier chips here. First up, we have Disarm Defense. Remove the defense crush status after base buster hits. Or enhanced defense, rather. So, it'll just dispel that, which is okay. And mobility. Reduce prep time by 20%, which isn't bad because I think the cooldown time on this is like 6 seconds or so. Or something, somewhere around there. And then finally, we have the big one, which a lot of you should recognize if you've been playing this game or PvP quite frequently. And we have Energy Burst, can shoot 3 shots at the same time. Now, this should look very, very familiar because a few other units have this. Protoman EXE has this on the Sonic Boom. Swimsuit Palette has this on her Water Gun. And a Super Base has this on his Base Buster. And what that means is this has potential for a huge amount of burst damage, which is one of the reasons why Super Base is really, really sought after, especially for PvE type things. Because not only do you inflict defense crush, but now your Base Buster goes from doing about 202% attack damage at point blank to about 600% attack damage, because you shoot 3 rounds at once now, and each round does 200% attack damage. So that has a lot of damage potential right there. Granted, that is assuming that you connect all 3 shots, which in most scenarios, at least in the PvP setting, it won't be that easy to do. But if you can connect them, you'll do a huge amount of damage. Next up, we have the Sweeping Laser here. Dash forward with the laser downward and deal about 282% attack damage to all targets along the path when forming weapon skill and immune to all damage. This one's okay as well. This one's actually really, really nice. I like this a lot. And for the modifier chips here, we have slow resistance, 40% chance to become immune to slow, which is, you know, that's kind of whatever. You not suffer negative side effects when using Sweeping Laser, so you have access to true showtime on this here, because you take no damage while performing the skill, and then you will suffer no negative side effects. So that's actually very, very good. And then here we have Destroy Armor. After hitting, inflict 2 stacks of defense crush and can be stacked with Base Buster's Sabotage Beam. So you can inflict a lot of defense crush with Super Base here. And this skill actually does have terrain piercing. However, it's very limited in that you can only do it directly downwards. So they have to be somewhere below you in order for you to get damage with the skill. But it is still quite a nice skill, although it has quite a long cooldown at about 7 seconds. So I guess you just have to be like mindful of that. So let's take a look at the passive skills, and this is where I think this is where a lot of Super Base becomes unlocked as well, alongside the modifier chips here. First up, we have Basinium. Reduce damage taken by 10%. Great, fantastic. Just inherent 10% damage mitigation. Great. Buster Master. Increase damage by 20% when equipping a Buster. Great. Free 20% damage resisting with a Buster. Again, fantastic there. Maybe not fantastic, but you know, very, very good. Treble Boost. Become accelerated after using Sweeping Laser. Increases movement speed by 35%. And this is why one of the reasons why Base is so good in PvE stages. Because now this gives him a speed boost on top of the mobility that he already has with the Sweeping Laser. So now he gets a 35% boost to his speed. So that'll not only help in PvP for engaging or disengaging with the opposition, but also helps in PvE race mode stages as well. You know, alongside just being able to deal a good amount of damage to multiple enemies and having them, you know, just having them potentially be one-tapped. Next up, we have Animosity. This is on regular base as well, I'm pretty sure. When you hit an invulnerable target, you gain invulnerability as well. This effect will only trigger once again after 3 seconds. However, this effect will not work on attacks that are immune to debuffs. And when you are attacked, there is a low chance to activate this skill, and the 3-down cooldown restriction will not apply. So I like that last part a lot there, actually, because you just have a chance of becoming immune to damage, which is fantastic. And the targets that are immune to debuffs, so that's just saying, like, you know, preventive shield, or if you happen to hit, you know, an opposing base or a super base that's mid animation with Sweeping Laser. and they have their Showtime chip equipped. You wouldn't be able to snag it off that. So that's just something to be wary of. But just having free iframes while your opponent has iframes is pretty nice. And then here's the thing that I really like about Super Base. It allows them to just kind of be really unlocked. Evil Energy. Use Base Buster repeatedly, and this effect can only be triggered once after 8-second cooldown. Use Sweeping Laser repeatedly, and this effect can only be triggered once after a 10-second cooldown. So basically what this allows you to do is just spam out your skills, right? So now you can fire a Base Buster twice, or you can fire a Sweeping Laser twice. So now your Base Buster damage goes from a potential 600% damage to 1200% because you use it twice in a row. And that's why Base has such high burst damage, which is very, very useful. And then again, the same with Sweeping Laser, so that makes him even better in race modes. That can allow you to engage or disengage with enemies very, very easily as well in PvP, which is always good there as well. He doesn't have a card of his own to really go over, but he does have DNA. He won't be getting his DNA upon release, most likely. I would assume that he will not get it, as other characters have not gotten it. Like Base Double Cross hasn't gotten his DNA, and he was released after Super Base initially, so I would assume that we don't have that DNA. And I think actually Base Double Cross might have gotten his DNA before, but anyway. For the fixed DNA, first up we have energy feedback when defeating a target with a weapon or skill. Recover HP equal to 20% of the attack. Effect only trigger once more. That's 6-second cooldown. This isn't very good for PvP, but for PvE this is very, very nice, as this allows you to just have some healing on deck. Can be useful in raid bosses as well, just because some raid bosses end up summoning ads. Buster adaptability, reduce damage taken by 20% when equipping a buster. Again, fantastic. Because Base wants to use busters anyway, you just get an inherent 20% damage amplification and damage mitigation while equipping a buster, so that's great. It'd be even nicer if this was built into one of his other passives though, and then we can have something else here, but this is still okay. And then finally we have Body Boost. Eliminates all negative status effects from yourself when using Sweeping Laser. The imminent multiplier of Sabotage Beam increased by 30%, and the resulting weakened damage status cannot be removed and ignores part of shield. All in all, Super Base's fixed DNA is okay. I like this. Although again, I wish this was caked in somewhere else. But because of when he was released, we weren't getting the really busted passives. Like I said, this is really good for PvE, not that great for PvP. And this is pretty okay as well. Removing negative status effects from yourself while using Sweeping Laser, as that does allow you to remove things like shield, dot damage, etc. You won't be able to move immobilized because you can't do anything while you're immobilized, but confusion as well, which is pretty nice. Although the phrase all negative statuses is still not correct, because we have things that cannot be removed at this point in the game, so I would really prefer if they swapped the wording of that so it wasn't misleading to newer players or players that just didn't know that some stuff cannot be removed. But yeah, and then finally down here for the unique DNA we have Pressure Operation, which we just went over with 4th Armor X recently. But when causing defense weakening, or defense crush as I call it, or hitting a target with defense already, we can restore HP equal to 4%. Every attack can only be triggered once every 6 seconds, so this is really good for raid bosses. This can help, I guess, in PvP if you hit a target that you've already hit with defense crush and you just hit them again. Although I think that's not that great for PvP, to be quite honest. It'll trigger during PvP, but I don't think it's that impactful overall. But that's it for the character preview for Super Base. So now let's go ahead and take a quick look at the dive time video before we wrap things up. Okay, here we're taking a look at the dive time video. It's actually extremely short this time. It's under 2 minutes. The last one was over 5 minutes. So let's take a look at this and see what we can extrapolate from this video here. Let me turn it down a little bit. All right, let's see. Oh, that's a different helmet this time too. She kind of want that helmet. Okay, the latest patch. Cut the crap, let's go. Yeah, that looks very much like Rico. A lot more now that I can see it even closer.
另外，受到大家喜爱的大装甲系列将再推出原创角色哦。我们先公开新角色的剪影，请大家拭目以待吧。哦，对对，之前我说过剧情会有重大的发展，所以我建议大家先去完成剧情10走章。偷偷说，
You may notice this week as well.
最后再跟大家预告一下，我们目前正在准备一个全新 IP 的联名活动。作品是当然非常人气的游戏，这个作品是之前完全没有合作过的作品，敬请期待。好，这集的 Dive Time 的内容是以上。拜托你们期待我们的活动，如果跟我们 X Dive 哦，那大家拜拜拜。
Huh. Yeah, I'm trying to like the things that immediately jump to mind would have to be Devil May Cry or Resident Evil. That because it hasn't been something that's been done before with X Dive. Those are the two that I can think of anyway. I might actually just like go poke around and see what other popular IPs that Capcom has. Because like when I immediately think of Capcom, I definitely think Street Fighter, Mega Man, Resident Evil, and Devil May Cry. Those are the ones I think of immediately. But those could just be the ones that I'm interested. Well, I'm really interested in 2 of those, but yeah, I don't know. If any of you have any ideas about that, maybe you know, go ahead and leave them down below, and maybe I don't know, maybe I'll learn something. But that's it for this week. Let me know what you guys think about the current update, and I will catch you guys next time. Later.